So it's my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Danny, the Spiritual Entertainer from YouTube.com. I've been watching his videos online recently, and very entertaining stuff. He has a very positive approach to our world and to the news today, and also to the controversy around the 2012 end of the Mayan calendar. And I want to bring him on the show today to give a sort of differing opinion from a lot of the other things that you'll hear on today's program, which are more critical about the 2012 date, and actually may seem to be a little bit more negative than Danny would suggest. So, if you want to add anything to that, that'd be great.
Yeah, hi, and thanks for inviting me to speak on your show. Firstly, a very important warning, which I really need to put up on my channel a bit more clearly. One of the signs that I hold when I started doing this street work about 3.5 years ago reads as follows. It says, "Don't believe anybody, including me."
Right.
And I really do stand by that. On YouTube, what happens is when you become kind of popular on YouTube like we have, what tends to happen is you get like fans, thousands of them, and every word you say they seem to agree with, which is quite dangerous.
Right.
Because I don't even agree with what I say. So just, people should just really be careful, just to be aware that we are bombarded by messages from all over the place.
Definitely.
And for me, my opinion is really not that interesting because it's going to be changing the whole time. And I hope that when I look back at the work I've done, I hope I'm embarrassed by it in a few years' time.
Right. I definitely encourage people not to believe anything. It's only a lens that we look through. A belief is just a lens, and we can swap them out whenever we like. And that's what I encourage people to think about.
Great
anyway.
stuff. Great
stuff.
Regarding 2012,
right.
What's happened with me personally on my own journey is that in the last few years, it really does feel like things are speeding up, and the information that I've been exposed to is changing so fast. It's quite amazing, and I've come to sort of feel in my body, if you like, a visceral feeling that the more I find out, the less I really know. I'm really getting to feel that. So my sense is I do have one major prediction, and my prediction is that the overwhelming majority of predictions won't come true.
Sure. I think that makes sense. Yeah, so you mentioned in your videos that you like to look at the world positively and like to look at things, you like to think of people as beautiful and strong and powerful as they are, and not to think about what's wrong with our lives. You like to think about what's right with them. And so can you give people a bit of a perspective about the news that you see in today's world from that sort of perspective?
Yeah, the news, I don't, to be honest with you, I very, very rarely watch news anymore.
Sure.
Virtually never. People come up to me, I remember just the last couple of days speaking about Tiger Woods. I know there's something going on there, but I have no idea what it is. Because it seems to me that either consciously or unconsciously, the news is designed to create unhappiness and dissatisfaction.
Right.
And whenever a person decides to read the newspaper or to watch television, they are subjecting themselves to a teaching, a lesson in how to think and what to think about. And we know that human beings are habitual, and so if you keep looking at negativity and noticing negativity outside in the world, then that's what you're likely to be doing inside.
Sure.
So that's why I personally stay away from the news.
Right. That's understandable, totally. And that same sort of message carries over to 2012. If you want to look at cataclysms and catastrophes, and you think about these things a lot, you're going to pull that sort of force into your life in a way.
Yeah. I want to just briefly recommend a book that I've read. It's a series of books. It's just one of the most unusual series I've ever read, and I've read quite a lot of weird stuff over the years.
Sure.
This is a series called The Ringing Cedars. The first book's called Anastasia by Vladimir Maigret, and in the book is basically it's difficult to describe, but it's an account of his experience meeting, supposedly, whether you believe it or not is down to you, a woman who lives in the taiga forest woodlands in Siberian Russia, who's never been exposed to Western world civilization. And it's an interesting experience to sit down, and just maybe some of your listeners would try and do this. Sit down and meditate for a few minutes in a perfectly quiet place, perhaps in a field somewhere, and imagine what it would be like not to have been conditioned by the media and all the things we've been conditioned by, and how we would be.
Wow.
And anyway, this woman speaks about, at length in these series, in different ways, about something that she doesn't actually call it this, but I would call it this because it's sort of well known in the world of New Age, if you like. Self-fulfilling prophecies.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard of that concept.
Sure, yeah.
And the thing about 2012, and what she says, she seems to say is, and other commentators as well, is that the idea of self-fulfilling prophecy is a technique used by, should we say, the powers that be, whatever that means, or certainly used by the media to create our reality. And it's very clever because it basically uses us. We create the reality through self-fulfilling prophecies.
Wow.
And so therefore, if there's enough people thinking there's going to be something terrible happening in 2012, that can create that reality.
Wow.
So how about, nobody knows what's going to happen in 2012.
That's for sure.
So a suggestion would be for as many of us to use our imagination to create 2012 being the most beautiful, amazing, wonderful year there could be. And what could you lose from that? It's just like playing a game that children play. And you know that in our crazy world that we should be sitting in the class and children should be sitting at the front teaching us, and they can teach us about the power of our imagination.
Absolutely. I wish everyone would do that, and everything would turn out okay. And everything would be okay, as you say on the streets there in London. So, yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on the whole thing, and thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
And if you do want to come back, and I'm still on the air after 2012, you're more than welcome to come back on and say I told you so.
God bless you. Enjoy.
Okay.
Good day. Bye.
Thanks a lot.